A Sydney father of 3 and financial executive has been identified as the 5th person in a helicopter crash in rural Victoria. First AG Capital co-founder and managing director Nicholas Vasudeva, from Sydney's eastern suburbs, was one of 5 people on board the flight that crashed into Mt Disappointment, north of Melbourne, on Thursday. The company this afternoon released a statement paying tribute to the true gentleman. Nick Vasudeva has been confirmed as the 5th victim of a helicopter crash in rural Victoria. Nicholas was an inspiring individual, with a storied career in both Australia and the United Kingdom, at a number of law firms and financial institutions, the statement reads. His ability to identify the real issues and clearly articulate them was uncanny. He was a true gentleman with a great sense of humour, who was well loved by all his colleagues, associates and family, and will be missed dearly. Our most heartfelt condolences to his wife and 3 children, extended family and friends, as well as the families of the 4 people who lost their lives. Police earlier stated the 5th victim was a 70-year-old man from Bellevue Hill. We have since been advised the man was actually 53, Victoria Police said in a statement today. Ian Perry and Linda Woodford from AXI Kane were both in Victoria's helicopter crash. 2 employees of a Melbourne-based virtual marketplace were earlier identified as having also been on the flight that crashed. AXI Kane finance consultant Ian Perry and AXI Kane chief executive and founder Linda Woodford, 50, was also aboard the helicopter. AXI Kane has said Mr. Perry was a respected member of the agricultural industry and a committed family man. Ms. Woodford's brother told 9 News the family is distraught and they have never felt emotional pain like this. He said she was transforming the entire meat industry process. 9 News understands Microflight, the charter company that owned and operated the helicopter, is working to put a tribute together for the people who in the crash. Pilot's focus was the well-being and safety of passengers. Yesterday, 32-year-old Dean Neal was identified as the pilot of the Microflight helicopter. His family said the well-being and safety of his passengers was always his highest priority. Dean Neal has been identified as the pilot of a helicopter that crashed in Mt Disappointment yesterday. Dean has always been the most conscientious of professional pilots and always put the safety and well-being of his passengers in the highest of his priorities during his many years of professional service, the family said. Our broken hearts go to the families and friends of those who were flying with him. Your unspeakable loss is understood by us all. Passenger was on last job before retirement. Earlier, a leader in the meat industry who was on his last job before retirement was identified as being among the crash victims. Paul Troja, 73, was among the 5 people who when a chartered helicopter crashed on Mt Disappointment yesterday. Paul Troja has been confirmed as a victim of the Mt Disappointment helicopter crash. Mr. Troja's son revealed to 9 News his father was on the flight to set his family up financially before shifting his focus to his loved ones and home life. He wanted to spend more time with the family, but he wanted to do one last job to get a bit more money behind him, so he could help us out, Luke Troja said. This was going to be it, and he was going to give it away. Investigation into crash underway. Investigators from the Australian Transport Safety Bureau will hand down a preliminary report on the cause of the crash in 6 to 8 weeks. Investigators are focusing on the weather conditions on the day of the crash. Both low-lying cloud and smoke haze were prevalent around the Mt Disappointment area on the day of the crash. Experts said it's possible these conditions could be to blame for the crash. The helicopter was one of 2 travelling north in convoy from Melbourne CBD over when it disappeared just after 9:30 a.m, according to Victoria Police. Both Microflight helicopter services aircraft took off from the banks of the Yarra River in Melbourne CBD near Crown just before 8 a.m. on Thursday. The wreckage was found near Blair's Hut at about 11:45 a.m. The second helicopter landed without incident at Moorabbin Airport in Melbourne's southeast, after raising the alarm. Microflight Helicopter Services Executive General Manager Rodney Higgins said the private charter flight that crashed was being flown by a highly respected pilot. Police said the cause of the crash was still unknown.